Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I got a video with all sorts of tips and tricks that I think you'll be able to use in your workshop. But before we get started, I want to give you a quick update on me. I'm probably not going to be making videos for the next 4 or 6 weeks. I'm not just sure. I'm getting some cataract surgery on my eyes so I can see better. And that's going to involve one eye first of all, and then the other eye, and there's a time period between them. So I'm not just sure how it's all going to come out, but just to give you a heads up. So let's jump into today's video. Well, I've got all sorts of things going on here. So let's start off with a variety of things here. I've got a number of things here. I've got some shellac, I've got some end seal, I have some paint remover, I have paint thinner. This is the jar that I use to mix hide glue. I've got some old stain here and some boiled linseed oil, of course my glues. And I was refilling one of my glue bottles the other day, and I couldn't get the lid off. Now I happen to have some what are called water pump pliers, and I was able to get it off, but some of these lids with the rib tops on them, you can kind of injure your hands sort of taking these off, or strain them at least, and we don't need to do that. We have tools that are simple and easy to use to get that off. This is one thing. The thing that I don't like about these, if you're using jars, glass jars with these plastic or metal lids, some things that are inside can do one of two things. They can either, because shellac is bad, once it dries, it can get sticky. And I've had many of these stick to the jar. So what I do now, I use a thin pass plastic material, and I put the lid over top of that, and it does two things. It prevents the material inside, if it has a tendency to want to corrode the metal lid, it prevents that. It seals the stuff in the jar, but it also, in most cases, makes it much easier to take the lid off. And here's a end seal, and this, when it dries, it gets really sticky, and in this case I can take it off really simply just because I put that plastic on there and it seals it. Now, if you do have something that hasn't sealed or that has really hard to get off, one of the problems with these is they can crush. If it's a metal jar or a glass jar with a metal lid, you can actually crush the threads and in fact make it worse, because if you crush the threads in front of where it comes off, you're actually making it worse. So these little strap wrenches, they're simple to use. You just wrap it around whatever it is that you want to take the lid off, and just tighten it up like that, and because they wrap all the way around, they're much easier. In this case, I'm tightening it. There's the loosened version right there. And because they wrap all the way around, they grab the thing all the way around. And honestly, these things work like a charm for taking lids off. They don't strain your hand. And because they're adjustable, you can use them for pretty much any size. They're inexpensive to purchase. I got both of these. I think I paid like $10 for the two of them or something. So they don't cost a lot of money, and they work great so that you're not straining your hands. As far as the plastic goes, I'm just using a very thin, I don't know what mil that is, maybe 5 mil or something. But look, you don't have to get anything special. You could easily use just like plastic from inside, garbage can liner would work fine. It doesn't need to be particularly thick. In fact, you don't want it particularly thick. You want it more on the thin side so that it doesn't bunch up when you're putting it on. So there are some tricks on how to keep your fluids lasting a lot longer and making the lids easier to get off. And when you can't, you can use that. So here's a tip from Philip. He says if you go out and get some old, you won't need to buy it, you can get it for free most of the time, some old countertop material. So that's something that's got a plastic laminate on top, and you can get offcuts if you're anywhere around a countertop making shop, they will give you offcuts for free as much as you want, and you can cut that pretty much on any table saw. Any bandsaw will cut that material fine. In my case, I just picked up a quarter sheet from the lumber store, and I picked up some double-sided melamine, and it works perfect for that as well. And I even cut it up into smaller pieces, quarter sheet, so that if I want, I can use a quarter sheet. And for making, you can purchase sticky back, pressure treated sandpaper and put it on there. But you know what? I make my own, and there's a variety of companies that sell spray-on adhesive. This happens to be Elmer's, and it works fine. And I even put on the back of it, if you can read it, it says for temporary, you spray on, leave it for 3 or 5 minutes, and then just stick it on. If you want it permanent, you have to spray both sides, but typically I only want temporary. And honestly, this stuff, it never comes off. It works just fine. And when this sandpaper gets worn out, I just peel it off. I get another plain piece of sandpaper, spray the back with it, and stick it back on, and I'm ready to go. So lots of ways of making this. Is a handy item in your shop, and I use it quite frequently. In the next few weeks, I need to make a series of little boxes, and I'm going to be using this spalted alder. It's gorgeous wood, and they're going to be hinged boxes. And if you've ever worked with these little hinges, they're really fiddly, and when you're trying to pre-drill them, they move around on you. The best thing to do with that is to use a little bit of double-sided tape on the back of the hinge. And I'm not using anything fancy here. This is off-the-shelf, double-sided tape you can get at pretty much any stationery store or any general store. And now when you put that on there, you can position that to where you want it, stick it on there, and it doesn't move around. And you don't need anything fancy. As I say, this is just really easy. Here's my collection of double-sided tapes, and I have all sorts of them, and I like this one because it lasts forever. I don't know, this is probably 3 or 4 years old, and it still works fine. It's quick and easy, inexpensive, and for putting hinges on, it's perfect. In this case, I'm showing you the remote for my dust collector, and I only have one remote, and I have different tools around the shop that I connect up, and sometimes I want to have this right handy to the tool, so I have it portable. And in my shop, I have a hung ceiling, so there's actually steel bars in the ceiling, and what I have are a couple of these magnetic pickup for things you drop on the floor to pick up. But at the top, I have a magnet in them. And the way I have that is I've just got a hook. You can see all it is a hook like that. And I put a magnetic or a earth magnet in there and just wrap some tape around it. That's all it is. And now and I have 2 of these. So I have one over by my table saw, and I have this one next to my router. And that way I don't have to be running back and forth to be turning the dust collector on and off. And the way it works is this. This is actually one of those adjustable key things. And I don't really use it that often, but if I grab it, it just goes back up to the top. Usually, because these are extensions, they're quite a bit higher up. So I'm reaching up to it. I've got this down so that you can see it. But what I have here is just a piece of steel, and that's where that magnet is wrapped around there. And that's it, it's connected. So I made my own quick connect for it, and now I can turn my dust collector on and off. And when I want to transfer to my table saw, I just take it off and put it over to the other one, which is over by the table saw. Quick and easy, and you don't have to have 2 of these. You could do it with one. I like to keep the table saw one close by so I know where it is, instead of sometimes I put it in the wrong place and I'm looking around for it. So just something to make life easier in the workshop. Here's a tip where when you're at your drill press and you're drilling into metal and controlling those chips that come off of there, one of the best things to do, you can use a magnet and put that on the inside of a bag like this to collect them. But I found the best thing to do is to put a mag switch inside, turn it on like that, and let it sit next to, you can see that it's wanting to hang on to that, so it's going to grab those chips. Put it right next to the drill bit when you're drilling, and it will collect all of those chips. Are just going to go automatically to that. Then you can take that off of there like that with all of those chips on there and take it over to the garbage, and you turn it like this and go bingo, and they all just fall off into the garbage. You might need to brush a little bit off the end of it, but a really good way of collecting chips so that they're not getting all over your wood and all over the deck of your drill press. Well, that concludes my video for today. Just a number of tips and tricks that I use in my shop just to make life a little bit easier and help make woodworking a little bit more fun. And a few years ago, I made a foldable outfeed table for my table saw. That'll show up here or here, one or the other. That's been a very popular video. I've had a lot of feedback. A lot of people have made that, and some people have adapted that onto their contractor saw. So just because I have a cabinet saw doesn't mean you can't put it on a contractor saw. And I've seen some people do that and done a very good job of it. So you can put it on, sounds like you can put it on just about any saw, but go and have a look at it. If it's something that helps you out, so much the better. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. I'll see you soon.